Let's look at a few attacks from mount position in Jiu-Jitsu. If you've been following my recent videos, we had a close guard playlist where we went over an armbar, a back take, and a sweep. If you want to watch that, I'll make sure that shows up at the end of this for you. All right, so for this mount position, we're gonna work from this arm drag that we got from the close guard sequence that, as I mentioned, I'll post at the end. So we've swept them with their arm across here. All right, so if you haven't got to this position from the sweep we covered in the last playlist, then it's fairly simple to get the arm across. We just need to bait the Americana. So I'll choose his top arm. I'm going to start to push on his top arm. So one hand's on the wrist and one hand's on the elbow. I'm not bench pressing him away here. I just straighten my arms and I start to posture down here. I'm putting more pressure on the wrist to open that out. Then when we get to this point, I can start to attack the Americana, but a lot of the time they're going to start to turn here to defend, and that's how I'm baiting that arm drag. So as soon as he turns to defend, I drop my chest on his tricep so that he can't get that back now, and then we're in that same arm drag position that we finished the sweep from the last playlist in. Okay, so from here, the first thing we'll do is we'll go for the arm bar. So I'm going to grab his wrist, then I'm going to grab my own wrist here. Now my left knee, so the one behind him, is going to start to travel up here, and then my right foot starts to come in towards his hip, and I'm keeping everything nice and tight here. Now from this point, I'm going to start to lean my weight over my right hamstring, but right now I've got no weight on him. So my right foot wants to come around and then under his shoulder here. Now, because my foot's not on the mat like this, I don't have all my weight in the foot, I've got all my weight in that hamstring, so I can lean over, I bring my left elbow over his head here, I can step my left leg over. I'm going to keep this same grip as I sit off nice and slow. I want no space between my hips and his shoulder if I've got some space. So if I've sat off and created some space, the beauty of this grip is I can now keep my chest tight on his tricep and sit back and close that gap. So again, if there's space here, I just keep my chest on his tricep, sit back and shimmy him back in. Now, as I start to sit back here to armbar him, I want to keep as much tension in this grip as I can. As his arm starts to open out, I just open my fingers, keep my thumb where it is, wrap around his wrist this way, and now I'm going to start to pull his wrist over my hip as I slowly start to sit back with heavy heels and my hamstrings heavy on him, and in time start to bridge as well to work for that tap. Okay, the more we have his shoulder on our hips, the quicker this is going to come on as well. One more time with this. So one hand on the wrist, one hand on the elbow, stiff arm here, drive that to the mat. He's going to turn and I immediately drop my chest on his tricep so he can't get that arm back. Then I punch around, grab his wrist, punch under, grab my own wrist. Then my left knee starts to come up, which is helping my hips turn. Right foot comes in and now I'm kicking that out and under his shoulder here. Now from this point, I just start to lean my head over his hip. My elbow flares, I step that leg over and then just slowly back. Make sure we've closed that gap so I can drive this back to check that. Heavy with my hamstrings, I start to sit back with this grip, open my fingers out, wrap around, then I'm pulling this over my hip and bridging slowly. Okay, again, if there's a big gap here, I can sit all the way back and then I have to start bridging. Whereas if this is super tight here and I'm pulling back into him, as we go, that starts to stretch his shoulder and everything else as well. So keep this nice and tight. Thanks for watching, guys. If you want to check out the close guard playlist I was talking about at the start, that's going to pop up here for you. If you want to watch the next video in this sequence, it's going to be an arm triangle choke or a head and arm choke, and that's going to show up too for you.